All right, this is the ran down and got an energy suspension urethane bump stop. They call this the low profile bump stop. This is what was in there originally. Okay, these two rubber, there was one on each side and a hole there, and then where I have the other one over there, there's another same kind of hole. And I just carefully pried them up out of there, pushing the that little arrow piece up through, and got them out that way in case I wanted to reuse them. The challenge is that where it's sitting right there, where it comes up, it's going to, and I'm not sure how well the light will work, but it's barely going to catch the edge here, and it's just not going to work very well. And I was thinking, well, just going to have to weld an 1/8" piece of strap, you know, like an 1/8" thick by 1" piece across the bottom there for the bump stop to ride on. And that is an option, but with trying to make this a bolt-in modification for the end user, I'm trying to keep modifications to the upper control arm minimal, because that way they can just go to the scrapyard and get it. There will have to be some clearancing, and the battery's about to die. Nice. So anyway, there will have to be some clearancing on this lip right here for the shock absorber, and I'll probably get to that just a little bit later, but let me, we'll put this in here real quick. This is the bump stop, and you can see without any modification it just drops right into that hole. So for prototyping, I'm just going to use a regular nut. They come with Nylox. So let's see if we can eke out the last little bit here. Okay, so it's hitting on this side. I loosened up the nut on this side, and you can see that I'm able to turn that. So there's no real pressure on it. If I lean on the arm just a little bit, yeah, I can't move it anymore. So it's close. It's really close, and I kind of like that. I think there's enough overhang with the urethane there that will work as a bump stop without having to modify the control arm. I like it for now. We'll see if that changes later. Something else I wanted to show here real quick was the fact that this is loose. Okay, that basically, I moved this down 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch from where it was when I set the shock travel limit. Okay, because I didn't want it bottoming out the shock at either end. Then it seemed like I was binding the ball joint at its travel limit. And part of that seems to be because if you can see that, if you look in there, this sits at a slight angle to the cross shaft. Okay, and that's part of the reason for that is in its stock location on the 720, it belongs on the other side of the truck, and that helps with anti-dive. Upgrading a 521 to ball joints should be a significant enough improvement that I really don't have to worry too much about anti-dive. Because in order to fix that, that would require building a custom control arm, which would basically double the cost of everything where I'm trying to hold the price and that stuff. So anyway, when I figured out that it seemed like it was binding the ball joint, I dropped the nut. I raised this one up 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch, and I dropped this one down. So that way it would actually hit on the washer. Whereas before it wasn't. It was the ball joint was stopping its travel. So my goal is to have the arm stop up and down before it binds the washer. So these urethane bump stops appear to be perfect for what I'm trying to do, because it stopped it just shy of my travel limit there, which is perfect. So now what I'm going to do is, there's a hole down in the bottom there where the stock upper limit bump stop goes. And so I'm going to move one of these down, since like I showed in the video earlier, this one is actually not touching. That's not doing me anything as far as clearance checking and stuff like that. So I'm going to take that one out and move it into the bottom and see how the clearance is there. In order to get this lower, or the bump stop in the hole there, that hole is too small. Needs to be opened up just a bit. And typically I don't like to modify the frame any more than I have to. But a stock bump stop would still mount, even with the hole being bigger. So I don't mind opening up the hole just a little bit. So part of the challenge is that even with this thing down, even with a right angle drill and a short drill bit, I still can't get up in there. So basically what I'm going to do is just support this for a second, do a little disassembly here. That'll let it drop down. Alright. There we go. That should be enough. Let's see. Yep. Alright, let's see if we can open it up a bit. Wow, that's sharper than most of my step drills. Oh, there we go. Perfect. I probably went a step too far, but not really a big deal. So, let me grab the nut. As long as I got all that extra clearance down in here. Kind of, sort of. Let's, alright. Okay, there we go. Let's slap it back together here. And granted, it's a lot easier with the tower slot to put that, put this in and out. All right, so that's on. Let's go ahead and get the ball joint mounted back up. Okay, so let's see. That bump stop is not long enough by close to ½ an inch. Okay, well, stock bump stop would be a lot softer anyway. The thing is basically what I need to do is the stock bump stop, if you can see that or not, the stock bump stop's way too long, and so what I'll probably have to do is, if that focuses, if you can see it, you can see the dark area. Okay, so when this thing bottoms out, it pushes up about ½ an inch. I can't put that kind of load on the arm to reach that travel limit. So basically what I need to do is take a saw and cut the dark black cone off the end of the bump stop there, so that way when I mount it and I lift this up, that simulates my travel limit, my upper travel limit, because I'm not going to be able to compress that at all. So that will be that'll be the next thing I work on. I don't have too many of those stock bump stops though, so I'll modify one for prototyping. And oh, actually I got that one from the scrapyard, so yeah, I'll modify that for prototyping and be good to go. Alright, well, we're going to cut the bump stop down. Now I'm going to start it with a hacksaw, probably finish it with the Sawzall. I'm kind of curious to see how they both cut. Now this is really a pretty hard, firm rubber, and the hacksaw is doing a pretty darn nice job, actually. I put marks all the way around, that way I could try to keep it fairly flat. Now, the deeper you go, the harder it pinches, the hotter the blade gets, the more it's going to start sticking. So you can see that I'm already, you know, quarter of the way, third of the way through, so the hacksaw would do the job. But let's try the, this is a pruning blade. So it's nice and sharp, big teeth. Let's see, it may or may not work. I haven't done it before. Love that smell too. Burning rubber. Okay. And that would certainly be a whole lot easier on the car. So I'm going to mount that in there. That ought to be pretty close to my travel limit. We'll see here in a minute. Well, my bad. This bump stop that I just got done modifying is actually a off 720. So it is a little different. I would have to slot the hole I put in the that I enlarged in the other frame in order to get this to fit. It would work, but there's not enough clearance up against that back shelf to where the hole is. Okay, so now I'm under mend, looking to see about where it bottoms out, and let's I'm going to say roughly right about there. The rubber seems to be roughly about just as stout and just as thick and big and everything. The 720 was a little bit heavier though, so now the question is if we can kind of sort of get a measurement. Maybe, kind of, sort of. If I had a little tripod under here, that would probably help quite a bit. But let's go up against the frame there and move my arm so I can position. 1 3/8 inch. 1 3/8. Okay, so I don't want to have to take out the stock one and modify it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check this one, see where we're at, whether or not it's 1 1/8 inch, 1 3/8 rather. Oh yeah, how about that? It's right on the money, within 1/8 of an inch for sure. So I'll go probably slot the hole and put this one in, or I could just simply make another spacer 1 3/8 long and put in there and be good to go. All right, I'm going to modify the bump stop. I don't have a reason to keep a 720 bump stop around, but 521 ones, I don't feel like taking that one off and modifying it. So it's a little too long. I could slot the hole, but just for grins and giggles, I'm going to go ahead and modify. Oh, you know, I probably have to take that nib off there too. I'll take it off anyway. So we'll just slice it up. Alright. Love all that rubber smoke. Gonna have to open the door again. Manual tool, no power. My wife would give me crap about that, that's for sure. It's Sunday. I sure wish the neighbors would leave all their yard work for the middle of the week. They're making a lot of noise out there mowing and that stuff. So I just need to take this nib off here. The other thing I wanted to point out too, this is 720. That's a metric nut, so, or a metric bolt rather. Yeah, that's why you get the extended warranty on the cameras when you buy them at Best Buy, in case you ruin them. All right, so I have not. I've got the lower bump stop in there, the shortened one that best guess is 1 3/8 inch long to simulate bottomed out on the 521 and everything. So this is the first time I'm testing it. So what we're looking to do is to see if that bump stop stops it just before the top hits here. And it does, about about 1/2 inch. So the reality is that's as close to perfect as I'm gonna want, I think, because with the load on the truck and everything like that, that black mark on the end of the bump stop that showed me about where it bottomed out, okay, that was just an average. You hit a real hard hole or something like that, that's when all the damage is going to happen to the ball joint, to the shock, that kind of stuff. And so that rubber one should do that quite nicely. And keep in mind too that I'm missing the I cut it off. That's basically the maximum stop. Where the reality is if that piece were back in there, I would only go up to about here before hitting the bump stop. So it would hit the bump stop and give a nice soft, softly absorb the rest of the impact there and that stuff. So here's the deal is this is all basically custom, and there's going to be compromises. This whole thing is a compromise but we're trying to end up on the plus side. We're trying to end up with a better ball joint suspension, parts that are available, stuff like that. Nicer ride. We can adjust the caster and the camber a whole lot easier, especially the caster. So all of those pluses, means that, we may have to do a couple of trade-offs and stuff like that. And one of those may be, slightly less amount of travel here. And the other thing too is this bump stop could get modified by the owner. You could actually cut the end off a little bit to get some more travel, just like this is here. It just means that when it bottoms out, it's going to be even more abrupt, a bit harder. And you could also change the shape just a little bit. You could cut the sides down a little bit and that stuff, make this thing a little narrower. It would actually be a little softer, squish a little further. I don't think I would do that, but there are some options there. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So on to the sway bar mount again. I think that's one of the last big hurdles I have here. So let's move on to that.